Hello and welcome to the Zero Driver Development Program. Following the feedback from people, I got a cheeky email or two. Didn't get so many comments, but everything was counted, and the consensus seems to be we're going with Jordan. So here we are. Welcome to Jordan. As you can see, I haven't run the first season yet, and that is because I'm going to do that off camera because it's not really relevant to the kind of aims of this playthrough. So I'm going to off camera the 1998 season, and then we're going to pick up in episode 1 at the start of 1999. But in order to do that, we must amongst ourselves decide who are the lucky people who get to drive for us next season. Bye bye Damon Hill, bye bye Ralph Schumacher. Jesus Christ, we've got off to a bad start already. Let us see who we will be developing. I'm going to start with the test drivers first, because they count in my book as sort of young, undeveloped drivers. There are one or two other drivers that actually have a race seat at this point that I would consider as being drivers for development. I will point those out as we go. First of all, we have Emmanuel Collard, 26-year-old Frenchman, a little bit old for the driver development program, I suppose, but then again, there aren't many spring chickens in this game, nor were there in Formula 1 at this time, really. Zeros across the board, of course, and he's basically, when I say level 1, if a driver's level 1, it's a driver who has got only the bare minimum of stats. We're not counting morale at this point, because it's not really a skill, it's more a state of being. Yeah, Emmanuel Collard is not really on my shopping list, but you know, I am nothing but a Democrat, so if he's the guy you want, then you guys let me know and we will make it happen. Luca Badoa, 27, a guy who did actually have a shot in Formula 1, but it didn't go particularly great for him. He's only got 2 extra points above the default, which doesn't sound very much, but actually when it comes to undeveloped drivers, that puts him pretty much top tier. He's with Ferrari at the moment, but of course he is free for next season. Joining the party is Ricardo Zonta, 21 years old. That is more in keeping with what we think of today as a development driver. Maybe a little bit old compared to what we think of today as a development driver. Thanks, Max Verstappen. He is ones across the board, apart from a singular stat that has an extra point kicking in it, although he is a happy chappy. He's currently testing for McLaren, and you know, nice young Brazilian. It's good to ensure a wide range of representation in Formula 1, I think, so he's someone that we should definitely consider. Here we come to a driver who I consider as being a development driver, and that is Esteban Tuero, a 19-year-old Argentinian driver. Again, same kind of level as Luca Badoa, but considerably younger. He also is a pay driver. He brings in 3.7 million a season at the moment. That could go up or down as the future progresses, but certainly someone to consider there. Laurent Redon, 24-year-old Frenchman. Anything special about him? No, he's a level 1 driver across the board. Jarno Trulli is 23, and this was his, let's call it his debut season. I mean, it wasn't really, because he was, of course, at Minardi prior to Prost, but Prost was really his breakout developmental season. He's obviously the most talented by a long way. I don't know if you guys would actually count him as a development driver, but I have picked him up here simply because of the circumstances which he found himself in 1998. Stefan Sarrazin, 23-year-old Frenchman. A lot of Frenchmen kicking about, but he is, again, at the younger end of the spectrum. Let's take a look. No, he's only got 1 extra point kicking around, so again, he's not the most talented, but he is definitely someone we can work with. Jörg Müller, he is a test driver at Sauber, level 1 across the board, 28 years old, a little bit old, I suppose, but again, it was pretty normal at the time, so we maybe shouldn't be too harsh. Jan Magnussen, Kevin Magnussen's dad, 24 years old at this point in time. Obviously, he's quite a bit older than that now. He will be a very expensive option for us, but I think he also counts as a development driver, given that he only has 1 season under his belt at this point in time. He is level 2 in a lot of respects, but speed, skill and wet weather are still only level 1, so again, not spectacular, but there is certainly room for improvement, and of course he starts at a much higher level than the other drivers that we would consider to be developmental prospects. Toru Takagi also has a race seat. He brings in 6.4 million. He is pretty well developed, actually. Particularly his concentration is of benefit to him there. Level 3 means that he's smack bang in the middle average, and that means he's going to get the car home, which is important. But again, if we exclude anyone who's got a race seat in 1998, then he is out the door. Andrea Montemini, 33 years old. No. Juan Pablo Montoya, 22 years old at this time, Colombian. He's a level 1 driver across the board, but we do know what happened to him in his real career, and he did go quite a long way. The fact he didn't win a championship, to be honest, at Williams at the time, surprised me. I think the team let him down more than he let the team down. Patrick Rainbow, the best name in Formula 1 and the worst nose. 24-year-old Frenchman. He has level 2 overtaking, but the rest is level 1 across the board. Our very own John Fellows, who joined us in the Arrows playthrough for a while, 23 years old, British. He's got level 2 speed and level 2 overtaking, but the rest is level 1 across the board. Alessandro Marini, who has been poodling around in a Prost like a moron. He's 21 years old and Italian. In this playthrough, obviously, he hasn't been consigned to a year at the back of the grid with Prost, but he has level 2 speed and level 1 everywhere else. Hiroshi Tanaka. Probably never heard of him. He looks a lot older than 25 in this photo, but apparently at this time he is 25 years old. One of the cheapest developmental drivers, actually, if not the cheapest, at $27,500 per season initially. He's got level 2 concentration, but he's level 1 otherwise. Henrik Ebert, 26-year-old German. That's quite a forehead you've got on there, matey. He is level 2 in skill, but the rest is level 1 across the board. 23 grand to hire him, so he's not the cheapest. Sorry, Tanaka is not the cheapest, but he very well might be. Daniel Patterson. He is the only American driver in this game, so that warrants some attention if nothing else. He's 27 years old, a little bit older to be honest, but his wet weather skill is at least begun to develop. He's level 1 otherwise, but if we want to take that step and try and get an American driver into the sport, then he is our man. Gary Elliott, 30 years old, British, far too old really to be a solid developmental prospect, so no. Dario Loretti, 24, Italian, with a ponytail and a goatee beard. You get those for free, you don't pay extra for those. Level 2 in wet weather and skill, but the rest of his attributes are all level 1, which is pretty stock and standard for developmental drivers. Our Arrows test driver, Carl Eisen, 27 at this point, German, $32,000 a year. He's got 2 level 2 skills, but again, level 1 across the board. The main standout there is that his concentration is on its way. Paul Johnson, 29 years old and British, $21,500 per season for a level 1 across the board driver. And finally, Celso Moreira, who is doing an admirable job in the Ferrari in our playthrough with Arrows. He's 22 years old, Brazilian. He has 3 level 2 skills, making him one of the best prospects, actually. Level 2 speed, level 2 skill, level 2 overtaking. That's sort of your standard hot-blooded Latin driver. He's certainly going to take the fight to your rivals, but his weakness is likely to be his consistency, particularly early on. He too has a goatee beard, so we know who to pick if we want a goatee beard squad. Right, I'm keeping this short because this is episode 0, but that was a quick rundown of the drivers who we could choose to take under our wing and lift up to greatness. The idea being that at least one of them we're going to sign on a long-term deal, so let me know in the comment section below who you would sign and on what length of deal you would sign them, whether you'd make them equal number 1 or whether you'd go for a 1-2 scenario, and I will make that happen for you. Right, I'm going to go record a proper Grand Prix World episode now while I wait for your feedback, so you guys take it easy and I will talk to you in literally a few seconds. Bye.